Hey, what's going on, Black people? I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. I want to say hi to everybody. I hope you guys are doing well. I can't talk too long because one of the kids has a birthday. So we're celebrating his birthday, and I want to say what's going on to everybody. I see Miss Mixie and a bunch of other. Let me see, Love. I cannot read the Instagram names. Your Instagram names get all complicated and stuff. But this is an interesting topic that we're gonna, that I'm gonna sort of chime in on and sort of nip it in the bud to address it. You guys don't see me really addressing a lot of stuff that happens on YouTube that often because I'm trying to be, I really want to move forward and be positive as a community. You can't really build if you're spending all your time fighting and destroying each other. But I think that because my heart's close to it, I felt that it's important for me to address it. So you can consider this to be like an official statement. Okay. So before I get started, I want to say what's going on, Curtis and Young V and Greg and Dolores Taylor and Jim Faison and Tamara. And if you see some sort of what's the word? Hesitancy in my voice is because I don't even know if it's the right thing for me to even talk about this. I don't even know if it's even okay for me to even bring this up or to address it. Some people, most things I just sort of, don't even, it's like whatever, it's things are gonna happen. But in this case, it has to do with Mechee X, who's a person that I like this lady. I do. I don't have nothing against her or anything like that. But sometimes things happen. Sometimes people their feelings are hurt, and so I got a message that where basically Mechee was pretty upset with me. She was on a YouTube channel saying some pretty nasty things, and it bothers me because from a business standpoint, there's a reason why when I work with people and we do stuff that we sign like non-disclosure agreements and things like that, and we do that because when you get in the public eye, you can't trust a lot of people. You just can't, because you build somebody up, you give them some power. Next thing you done gave them a missile. They point the missile right back at you. You're like, what did I do? I didn't do nothing, right? And it really it hurts. I mean, it really hurts. It makes you feel bad in terms of our community. There's so much trauma. Like Snoop used to say, there's so much drama in the LBC. Well, I say there's so much trauma in the Black community. Like that's what I would say, because I think that because we're traumatized people, we re-traumatize each other, and I hate that. It makes me sad, but I'll say this even before I even speak on any of it, and I'll answer questions. Like I don't have anything to hide. I like to just lay it out there the way it is. But I'm gonna say I'm gonna continue to help Black people, right? So some of y'all clown me, some of y'all make fun of me. I think even Tariq Nasheed made fun of me and said I was simping because I help these Black women, and some of them sometimes it doesn't work out. And I don't believe that that's simping. I learned from my father, who's a very tough man. I mean, my father's he's killed people. I won't say murdered people, but he's a soldier. He's a tough guy, and he taught me, to not be a bully, but I stand up to bullies. I'm not afraid of a bully, but I'm never going to be a bully. And he also taught me that the hardest thing in the world is not to be mean to everybody. It's easy to be mean. What's hard is to love, especially when you feel like you might be hurt because of love. That's what we have a hard time loving each other as Black people, because we're scared. We're scared, like, God, if I open myself up, they're gonna rip my heart out or whatever. And I'm gonna tell you, it takes a lot of focus. It takes a lot of discipline to do that. But I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop loving Black people. I'm not gonna stop helping people. Mechee X. I saw Mechee about a year and a half ago, and she said something. She did an amazing video about Bill Cosby, and I loved it because she was saying something that nobody else is saying. A lot of people don't, weren't saying this. They were all trying to say basically like, oh, we know he's guilty. We know he's guilty. Whereas, I was saying that, there's no evidence. Like, how do you know he's guilty? Like, why are we sending these Black men to prison with no evidence? And I love the fact that Mechee addressed that, and she addressed it in a way that only she can. She's very, very talented, very, very smart, very, very capable, and I loved her energy. And so I invited Mechee to participate in a project we had, the Fly Nubian Queen project. and where we basically got about 15 sisters, and they're all doing their thing, and you see them all the time. If you go to Fly Nubian Queen TV, it was an effort that we made to try to give a voice to real Black women. Not those fake ass women on The View, but for the women that really reflect our community. So we have great people that we work with, everybody from Dr. Shauna Etienne to Dolores Jones to Vicki Dillard, who has risen to become one of the most respected voices in the Nation of Islam, to who else? Gosh, a lot of other people. Danica Marie, C. Simone Kaysen, who's a financial expert. Danielle Pierce, another financial expert. Just a lot of just badass Black women. The kind of women that I grew up with, the kind of women I will always love. I have a lot of respect for women that reflect what our community wants. And so anyway, the hard part about working together with other people is that sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you try something and it works out wonderfully, and then sometimes you try it out and it blows up in your face. And so a couple of times where it blew up in my face was once with this lady named Paris Milan. Now Paris, I identified Paris back when her channel didn't have that many people on it, because I felt like Paris had some talent. And Paris came in and honestly, she just didn't work that well with other people. I'm gonna say that. It got to the point where a lot of people were complaining to me and saying, get her out of here. She's disruptive. She's bratty. She's complaining all the time, et cetera, et cetera. And I actually was one of the people who, again, probably to Tariq's point, I guess you could say, it is simping, but I said, no, she's young, give her a shot, and it wasn't no like attraction thing. Like I know better than that. I don't let, I'm not going to fuck up my whole career over a big butt and a smile or whatever. She's 24. That's like a baby in my mind. But I did say, okay, let's figure this out. Let's work this out. A lot of times, the reason Black people can't really build empires is because we can't get along. We fight. We want to fight all the time. Fight. And the thing is that, in any situation where you're working with another person, you're gonna have disagreements. And so your ability to build an empire does not come down to whether you can get along all the time. You're going to have disagreements. The question is, how do you resolve disputes? And so what happens sometimes is that if you have somebody that just gets pissed off and wants to burn down the building, and just doesn't think about the words that come out of their mouth and just says, like, fuck everybody, fuck all of y'all, I'm the shit, y'all ain't shit, it disrupts the ability to be unified enough to get things done. So with Paris, I remember saying, okay, well, let's see if we can work this out. And it just didn't work out. It just kept getting worse and worse, to the point where I said, okay, Paris, you got to go. I'm not fucking with you no more. You're upsetting everybody. You're upsetting people that I work with. You're whining, complaining. You're yelling over $80 or $100 or whatever. So you got to go. Sometimes you got to cut people off. And when I cut her off, that was the next thing I know. There's a video. Dr. Boyce is a fraud. Now, I understand that people put your name in their videos so they can get their views up, right? So her channel started taking off because she's saying I'm a fraud, et cetera, et cetera. And it's easy to believe because everybody wants to believe that the Black man, especially a Black man who has success, that there has to be a dark side, that there has to be another side. Like, oh, Boyce got a bunch of hoes and Boyce is fucking, three-legged midgets on the weekends and he's having sex with baby kittens, whatever it is, right? Like, people always want to believe another story. And actually, that's one of the reasons why I like to talk to people on a regular basis, because I know that intelligent Black people, I think, can discern. They can sit there and you looking in my eyes, you're hearing my voice. It's hard to fake 10,000 videos. It's hard to pretend, for 10 years straight, because I've been in this game for a long time. And you can check my record going back literally 25 years. And I've been speaking a very consistent message about Blackness since the 90s, since I used to write articles for the University of Kentucky campus newspaper. And so anyway, it's like, when it happened, I remember thinking, I don't understand. I called my accountant. I said, Jessica, you gave that little girl her money, right? Like, why is she saying that we didn't pay her? And what she said was, Paris, didn't want to turn in an invoice. She refused to turn in an invoice. And when you have a business, you have processes. You have to, follow a procedure. If you want to get paid, you got to turn in an invoice. And now we paid probably $2 million to black people over the last several years. There are dozens of people that we could bring out that will testify that they paid their rent because they came and worked with us, things like that. And but you have to have a procedure. You can't just run your business willy-nilly where you pull money out of your pocket. Here you go. And I said, well, I said, but I told you to go ahead and just pay her because I wanted her to just go. And so before she made that video, to my knowledge, she'd already gotten her money. And the thing was, if you go back and look at it, it wasn't a lot of money. It was like literally like not even enough money to stay in a decent hotel for one night. Like it was literally nothing. But it was like, at the same time, though, when you have people that are determined to believe a certain narrative, it doesn't matter what the truth are. It doesn't matter what the issues are. All that matters is, okay, this guy's a son of a bitch, etc. Right. And so what happens also is that this is just me being real with y'all. This is me just breaking it down and just telling y'all how all this works. But the bigger you get, the more enemies you get. You get haters. You also get people that are just pissed at you. There are people that, want to get close to you and you say, back up, and they're like, oh, well, you fake. You a fraud, man. You ain't really helping no black people because I asked you to give me $3,000 and you said no. Well, no, man, I'm not going to give you that money because I don't even know you, but yet if people know that you have a good reputation in the black community, they'll use that against you. Like, oh, I talked to Dr. Boyce. He a fraud. He fake because he did. I went up and I asked him to support my black business. He didn't do it. I went to New York just this weekend when I was in New York City. I had a shirt on that said support black businesses, right? There was some guy selling CDs. I was with my girl. We were rushing to get somewhere. And he said, hey, support my black business, right? And he's trying to sell me something. And I was like, I got to go, bro. I'm sorry, man. I got to go. And he's like, oh, you going to do me like that? You ain't going to support my black business? And I was like, I can't support everybody's black business, but I've supported a lot of black businesses. I put a lot of people on, and so sometimes you have disagreements. And I think that what I'm used to is more of a code of conduct where there's a lot of people I've worked with where things didn't end so well, where I have if you talk to me in private, I would bitch and gripe and be mad about this, and this, and oh, that son of a bitch, I can't believe he did that. But I don't really do that in public because I don't see the benefit of doing that. I don't see the benefit of blasting, other people. I don't see the benefit of just, it's just not that much fun to me. It's not, I don't see, I mean, sometimes you let it out. Like I said, like with Paris, I was really upset because we had paid her money and my lawyers were like, we need to sue the shit out of her because she's slandering you. She's lying. That's slander. You can't go and say something that's not true, especially if it causes, reputational issues or whatever. So Paris, if I were her friend, I would warn her, like, you can't do that. Like, I do have lawyers around me and they saw that and they said, you can't say things that just aren't true. Right now, in terms of Mechee X, I love Mechee, and I told you, I'm just not going to get out here and bash Mechee. Mechee can bash me all day. She can say terrible things about me. She can throw bricks at my head. But I'm just not going to do it. But I felt the need to address it because of the respect I have for her talent. I think she has a tremendous voice. I think that sometimes her emotions get a little bit over the top. I think that she's got to find some balance. I don't think she has the balance. I think that I don't really know if she's a happy person. Honestly, I feel like especially her and Yvette Carnell, you see, and Cynthia G. Those are three women that I've worked with. That I can say I played some part in putting them out there, and I don't regret that. And I remember having to go talk to Farrakhan about Yvette Carnell because Yvette Carnell went out of her way to attack Farrakhan, and that's when we had to part ways. Was because I said, I'm not gonna let you use my platform to go and attack somebody I love and respect. Now, a legitimate criticism of me would be, why did you even let her do that? Why did you let her speak? Well, because we need to let black women speak. We need to let black women speak. And why do I keep doing this? Why am I going to keep helping people? Well, because for every one person that you help where it doesn't work out, there's 15, 20 people I can name that I've helped where it worked out wonderfully. People like Noma Langum, Mushali Moses, Vicky Dillard, and others. I love the fact that I can say I play some part in their success, and it's not going to stop, and if you want to know what soul searching I end up doing when things like this happen, it's figuring out, like, what's the balance? How do you fight off predators while at the same time not, as Will Smith said, not letting it make your heart go dark, because that's what Will was talking about. That he said when you're getting attacked by people and having people get mad at you because you wouldn't give them whatever they wanted, or because things didn't go right, and they see that you're an easy target, how do you, not go into a hole? Because the temptation is to go into a hole where you just don't like, I don't fuck with nobody. I don't want to talk to nobody. And some of that's actually applicable where, over time I learned that, okay, certain people, I just don't want them close to me until we know what they're all about, what their agenda is. But at the same time, you can't do that. You can't let your heart go dark, because then eventually it ends up hurting you more than it hurts anybody else. And so, so I think that my balance is that I'm going to keep helping Black people, and I don't give a fuck if you think that makes me a simp. I don't give a fuck if people think that makes me a dummy. I don't give a fuck if people think that makes me a weak ass, wimpy ass person, because I know I'm not a wimp. I'm strong enough and secure enough in my manhood to say that it doesn't matter what you think about me. I'm a strong Black man. I was raised by a man. I was raised by a man who taught me what it means to be the man. And so so I'll say this. I will, I'm okay with addressing certain things, but I'm not going to let it disrupt the flow of what we're doing. We're over here building. So if you ever want to compete with me, if you ever want to fuck with me, then outbuild me, motherfucker. Like, build some shit, like really build some shit. Like, go to, I want you to be able to say 3 years from now that we have allocated $2-3 million to the Black community. I can say that. I can say last year alone, we paid about $2 million to Black people over time that came and worked with us as contractors, as graphic designers, as web designers, all kinds of shit. I can say that. I can say that even my enemies, I've helped my enemies rise up to have power that they did not have when I met them. I can say that. And I'm proud of that shit. I do not care what anybody thinks. I'm so proud to know that I was able to be part of the pillar in the Black community that we need. We need some real motherfucking men in our community. We ain't got no real men. We got wimpy ass little boys. You want to be chatty patty on the internet or whatever, want to destroy, but can't build shit. Can't build a goddamn thing. I am a builder. That's what I do. That's what I do. So if I had any advice I would give to my friend Mechee, number one, if you got an issue with me, you know my number. You can always call me. Don't be scared. Never be a person that will say more about a person away from them behind their back than you'll say to their face. So I've always, so she knows she's got my number. Yvette Carnell has my number. I think Paris Milan has my number, but I don't really want to talk to Paris. I don't even know Paris like that. But Mechee, there's a respect. Yvette, there's even a respect for it. So my thing is, like, don't chit chat on Twitter and YouTube, but then when I call you and say, let's talk this out, what's the issue? You don't want to pick up the phone. That's not constructive behavior. Black people must have a code of conduct. The Nation of Islam does this, actually, where the code of conduct is, if you got a problem with your brother or with your sister, you call them on the phone, you have a face-to-face, you talk to them as if your goal is to resolve the issue. You don't get into this whole, like, well, let me tell you why he's a bad person. He a terrible person, and he did this, You know that shit ain't true. You know, if you call me, I'm going to say, God, I'm so sorry. What can I do? Is there a way I can help you? Like, how can we fix this? I am so sorry if I hurt your feelings. I truly apologize. Sometimes I'm a fucked up person. Sometimes I do things that are fucked up and I don't mean to do it. I'm just moving forward and going. And sometimes people's feelings get hurt and I don't even realize it. But sometimes if you wake me up and say, hey, Boyce, you did this and this really bothered me, then I'll address that issue right then. I've always been on the up and up with people. And that's pretty much what, and in fact, one piece of evidence that I can testify to make that point is that most of the people who hate me, most of the people, if you go to every attack video that I've had on the internet where people have really just said, Boyce Watkins is a son of a bitch, he ain't shit. If you look at the track record, you can go find video evidence. I have 11,000, 12,000 videos online. You can find videos where I was helping that person. You can find videos where I was helping that person. For every person that, all the major people, and we know who they are. And I'm not going to call them out because I don't want to start no shit with it. But if you go back and you look, you'll find receipts where I helped that person pay some bills. Now, in many cases, a lot of these individuals never, they never gave me any money. I never took money from them. I never asked them for money. Maybe sometimes they didn't have any money. That's okay. But I know that I wrote some checks. I know that I helped some people financially. right? And I don't regret it at all. I don't regret any of it at all. So I think that I'll say this too, in terms of just keeping it 100. I really don't like Mechee's coalition with Tommy Sotomayor. I ain't gonna lie. I don't. I think Tommy, he's a damaged soul. But if you go look at Tommy's work, it's been very disturbing. I can't co-sign on it. I think that there's an issue. I think that he hates black women. I think that something happened with his mama or with a baby's mama or something. He's been traumatized by black women. I see a lot of his content being incredibly negative. And I almost talked to him because I invited him on. In fact, this is the other thing. This is the other rule that I have is that if I say something about somebody, I always invite them on to talk to me. So say that. So I mentioned Mechee. She's always welcome to come in here and we can talk, or I can come to her channel and talk. Tommy, I invited Tommy, and Tommy reached out to come on. My assistant talked to him back and forth, and I said, yeah, let me talk to this brother on the phone. Let me just see where his mind is at, so we can just try to see if we can find any common ground. She said he never got back to him. Now I don't know. Maybe Tommy tried to get back and maybe it didn't work out. I don't know. But I've never not made myself available. Even going back to Umar Johnson, y'all know that I had a question about Umar in the school. I was asking about the school. I was like, okay, Umar, you collected all this money, bro. Like, where's the damn school at, man? And Umar had a lot to say about me on Instagram and on Twitter and on Facebook. But when I tried to call him, he did not pick up the phone. And honestly, I'm sorry. To me, a man is gonna be okay with getting on the phone with you to cuss you out. He's not just gonna talk about you on the, like on Facebook. Like that's like something a teenager would do. So I just don't think that makes a lot of sense. Now I see Mechee's there. Mechee, if you want to come in here ever, we can come in and talk it out, because I would love to talk to you. Let's see. She says, who has a coalition together? You wanted me to beef with him for views. I told you that if you talk to him, that would actually help your views. I did say that, because that's the way. Now tell me if I'm wrong. The way the internet works is that people build their channels up by attacking and fighting other people. But I never tell anybody what they should talk about. I just tell them what's going to happen. I say, well, if you talk to that person, then this is what's going to probably happen. So if that's your goal, then go for it. But I told Vicky Dillard not to go on Tommy's show because I did not feel Vicky Dillard's spirit. Vicky Dillard has a very her spirit isn't. It's not like she or Mechee are better than one or the other, but Mechee has a different kind of energy where she's able to navigate in a Tommy Sotomayor type space. Vicky, I felt, is not a fit for that space. I think Nation of Islam people have a way of seeing the world where they're not that good at destroying and attacking other black people. Whereas I think Mechee's a little bit more of a fighter. And I thought that would be interesting, because that is really true. On the YouTube, just pay attention. Watch how Paris Milan moves. Paris Milan and Tommy kind of do the same thing. They all attack each other so they can all get the views on the channel. It's just like pay-per-view fights, right? So that is true. But I never told you that you should go on his show. You reached out to him on your own, because I didn't know how to reach out to Tommy. I didn't have Tommy's number. I didn't say, oh yeah, you got to get with my boy Tommy Sotomayor. So I refused to go on Tommy's show. I have never tried to go on Tommy's show ever, not once. I wouldn't even go on it now. I mean, he could come on my show. He can come here, but I wouldn't want to go on his show because I don't feel there's anything black people can benefit from with me being on Tommy's show. I think it only weakens or reduces or waters down what I do. There's nothing. It's like when Jesse Lee Peterson invited me on his show. I was like, what's the point? Like, I don't understand. Like, you're going to come in here and you're going to like say something coonish, and I'm just going to tell you that I don't agree. I'm not going to really cuss you out. I'm just going to say, like, that doesn't even make any sense, bro. But that's it. Like, I'm just not really into that stuff, because the thing is, whatever you do, and I know Mechee's got the Black Agenda tour, and I was all for it. I wanted to support it. I promoted it on my Instagram for free. Didn't charge anything. I made a $500 donation to the tour. I hope Mechee will verify that. I mean, Mechee, if you're going to talk about things, I hope you'll talk about everything. I donated money to the tour, and all of a sudden, Michelle, my manager, she was trying to work out something with travel. I was going to go speak for free. My speaking fee is $10,000, and I was going to waive the fee and come to speak for free. And somehow the conversation stopped. And I don't know if it was because we needed travel expenses covered because I asked for travel. I don't know, but I'm saying to you, Mechee, if you're watching, the thing you got to understand is that you got to communicate with people. You can't just go and just decide, okay, I'm just going to go make a video and respond and say all these things that I've been thinking that have been brewing inside my mind. You know, from the very jump, when I saw you blowing up, when I saw Mechee, I saw what everybody else sees. Mechee's a brilliant woman, wonderful woman. I think she has a good heart. I really do. I saw her blowing up. I saw what she was becoming before she became it. And from the very moment when I started seeing that happen, I called her on the phone and I said, you know, okay, Mechee, I hope that you will at least make sure that if we ever have a disagreement, because we're going to have a disagreement, I hope you'll always call me. I hope you know you can always call me. Now, you know, and because I've seen this. I've been through this before. I went through that with Yvette. You know, we and Yvette Carnell worked together for 7 years. I called several times. She never returned my calls. I just did, you know, and the thing is, I never asked her for money. I gave her money. She never gave me any money. And so it's just one of these things where I was like, God, what is it? What is it that causes these things to happen? But the best I can say is that I think it's because at the end of the day, if you interact with 10 people, it's going to go bad with one out of 10. And so what helped me was I started thinking, well, yeah, I tend to think about the people where it didn't work out because that breaks my heart. That makes me sad. But then I'll be like, well, wait a minute, for every one person it doesn't work out with, there's 9 or 10 others where it does work out. So you can't give up on Black people. Because I've had people say, you know how these niggas are. They love to yell and scream and act a fool on the internet and whatever. So, you know, boys, you shouldn't even fuck with it. But I'm like, no, I mean, these are my people. I'm not going to let go of Black people, even though Black people just love to fight. We love to fight. And I would just say, you know, let me see. Mechee says you did after you threatened to sue me and I told you I didn't care. That was a don't. Well, let me say this. If I wanted to sue you, Mechee, I could have done that. I got 4 lawyers that told me to sue you. Because you violated a non-disclosure agreement. Most corporations have a non-disclosure agreement. And we had to have that because Paris Milan decided that she wanted to just go make things up. And when you're trying to build a business, you have to protect the business. But we did. But actually, if I didn't care, Mechee, I would not have taken your call. You called me and you were mad about it. And we talked about it and we worked it out. And at that point, I said, let's talk again. Call me if you ever have an issue. So I think that, you know, it's passive aggressiveness. Like you can't just get gangster on a YouTube channel, but not get gangster on the telephone with me. Like if I call you and I say, hey, Mechee, let's talk. And you don't want to talk to me, but you're like screaming and hollering on Tommy Sotomayer's channel. That's not how you handle disputes, because I know that, you know, in your heart of hearts that I'm not a person that's out here to hurt you. You know, in your heart of hearts that I did a lot of stuff to be as supportive of you as I could be. Look around, look at the big YouTube channels out here. Look at Tariq's, look at the Phil on the Advice Show. Look at all the people out here that have big YouTube channels. How many of those people share their channel on a regular basis with other Black people? Like just let them use it to just come on and do whatever they're gonna do. Most people don't do that. And I think there's a logical reason why people don't share power, because they're afraid if I give you power, are you going to come back and use that against me? So this is about as real and as honest about all of this as I've ever been. Most of the time, I don't really address this stuff that often because I don't really want to get into the mess like that. But I care enough about you, Mechee, to get into the mess. I'm going to tell you, messing around with Tommy Sotomayor, that's not smart. I don't know what the situation is. I don't know if it's personal. I don't know what it is. And I don't give a fuck if Tommy gets mad about it. Tommy can be mad. He can go on his channel and rant and scream and slander and attack and whatever he wants to do. But y'all see what that motherfucker does on the internet every goddamn day. Y'all see how this guy's been rolling for the last 5 to 6, 7 years. So it's going to be hard for you to be an advocate for Black people and with Tommy Sotomayor under your fucking arm. That ain't going to work. That is not going to work, unless Tommy switches his tune, unless he suddenly becomes very pro-Black. But he's done a lot of damage, and I don't even care if you don't fuck with me. I don't even care if you don't work with me anymore. That's fine. Like life goes on. But I'm just going to tell you, I think that's not a smart move. So if that statement bothers you or gets causes an issue, I can't apologize for that, because y'all know me. And my goal is to just tell you my honest perspective. So let me see. I'm looking at some of the comments. I'm sure we got some trolls and some nasty people in here. because people want to believe the worst, and it's all good. But we got some intelligent black people in here too, I'm sure. And so, and some of y'all may actually even be irritated that I'm even addressing this, and I apologize to you too. I'm not really going to mess with it too much. John Smith says Tommy likes to promote the negative aspects of black people, but he doesn't promote the positive aspects of black people. Yeah. I mean, like Tommy is a great radio show host. Like you could tell, he's a professional. You know, he's good at what he does, but he uses his power in a really terrible way. And now somebody, let me see, somebody says, come on, y'all, I love you both. Yeah, you should. I love Mechee too. That ain't gonna change. I mean, even Mechee hates me. I'd like to know what I can do to make it better. So that's the most I can say is I'm not gonna play this game. I'm not gonna play this like fuck you, I hate you, fuck you, nigga, you ain't shit. Because that's we got too much of that shit going on in the black community anyway. We got too many people in the black community that don't fuck with people in the black community, and next thing you know, y'all fucking with white people, or you fucking people like Tommy Sotomayor or whatever. Like seriously, like I am not gonna be that guy. I'm not even Tommy. I even with Tommy, I could probably find common ground with him, man to man, but I'm not gonna talk to you as a man without you knowing where I really stand. I'm not gonna co-sign on bullshit. I've never done that. I never will. It's not gonna happen. So I think that if you're angry or you're mad, same thing, Paris Milan. If Paris Milan wants to come on the channel and talk it out and we could talk about facts, that's totally fine. I love it when the truth is laid out because the truth is like, there's a saying that says the truth is like a lion. You don't have to defend it. You just let it loose and it will defend itself. So if Paris wants to come and talk it out, okay, let's talk it out. Let's talk about everything. That's why, in fact, on the weekends, and it makes me feel better. I don't even know if this is a good strategy. Like I have people to tell me like, oh, Boyce, you shouldn't address, you shouldn't talk about. But my heart tells me no. Sometimes I want to talk about it. Every weekend I do Ask Me Anything, where I tell you guys, ask me any question you want, and I will give you an honest answer. And I do that because I trust myself enough to know that I think I'm smart enough that if I give you an honest answer, that smart people are going to understand where I'm coming from. And people who don't get it, that's on them. But I'm not here to pretend to be something that I'm not. That's not fun for me. We're too old for this foolishness. I agree. I think we're too old for this. Really, I mean, I'm almost 48. I'm almost 48. I'm not going to act like I'm 18. I'm just not. I think that there's a stage in life, and some of the people are not as old as me, and I understand. But there's a stage in life where you can have issues with people, but your goal should be a solution. Your goal should be to solve the problem. I don't give a fuck what the problem is. Your goal should be to solve the problem. If your goal is revenge, well, revenge eats away at you more than it eats away at the person that you're getting revenge on. Also, revenge and war, that's destructive. Black people need to be constructive. Because people say what the fuck they want about me. They can say, oh, Boyce ain't shit, Boyce is this, Boyce that. But you can't say I can't be an asset to what you're trying to do. You can't say that I can't help, because I have helped. I've given financial support. I've loaned my platform. I reach 1 million Black people a week. I've shared that openly and freely without charging anybody any money. David Banner came through the channel not too long ago. I think David and I get each other because we both want to build. And I'm just not as, David's a little less foolish than me because he doesn't even get involved in none of the shit. He doesn't get involved in any of that. Whereas I'll jump into the lion's den a little bit because I think we need to have these conversations. We need to clean up the community, man. Seriously, we need to have some better energy flowing around here. Like seriously, like the same disputes that some of us have publicly, where we start acting a fool and cussing each other out and destroying each other. I've seen people in the Nation of Islam. There's a reason why I respect the nation so much. I've seen people in the Nation of Islam have similar disputes, and they handle it in a way where they find solutions. They work it out. They figure it out. I'll give you a good example. When Yvette Carnell, when I used to let her use my YouTube channel, and she went on my channel and just bashed the shit out of Louis Farrakhan. Yvette actually has ruined the ADOS movement because Yvette spends so much time attacking people. And I know Yvette well, and she's a brilliant lady, but one of her downsides is that she's not a happy person. She's got a lot of this like real negative, nasty energy. You even look at her facial expression. Usually she's complaining about something. She's just very negative. And so she's destroyed the movement because she wasn't just attacking the issue. She was attacking her allies. She was, she was finding people that supported what she was doing with her reparations and was attacking them too. And I had people calling me and saying, well, we don't want to really we weren't going to work with you because we thought you were down with Yvette Carnell. And Yvette is so negative and nasty and she's attacking everybody. And I said, no, me and Yvette don't work together. But this is what I was hearing, that, like, so you went, she goes and she's holding the ADOS conference with Dr. Kevin Cosby, who's a person I introduced her to. I got her a speaking engagement with Dr. Cosby's church in Kentucky. And the thing is, what Yvette doesn't understand is she also attacked Dr. Claude Anderson. Well, Dr. Claude Anderson is a huge, he gets huge support from Kevin Cosby. Kevin Cosby put Dr. Claude Anderson in his budget. So you can't, just from a strategic standpoint, you can't go attack Dr. Claude Anderson and Powernomics and then expect to get support from Dr. Kevin Cosby, who was a huge supporter of Dr. Claude Anderson. That makes you look unintelligent. That just makes that ruins everything for everybody, and it makes you look like a bad leader, right? So when she attacked Farrakhan, me being the idiot that I am, I walked to Farrakhan's house and I supported her. I said, look, I don't agree with what she said, but we just have freedom of speech policy. I let people say what they want to say, even if they disagree with me, because I'm from academia. We believe in freedom of speech, freedom of thought, which are things that are not very popular right now because, speech has become very oppressive. Facebook is banning people for saying what they want to say, all stuff like that. But anyway, the minister taught me a lot about manhood that day. I was so impressed with the way he handled it. He didn't complain about Yvette. He didn't say, oh, well, you need to shut her down. He said, you should encourage her to keep speaking. And to me, that was about the most gracious response I have ever heard from anybody. And in that moment, I learned a lot about manhood. I said, wow, this man is amazing because he's able to rise above the niggatry that exists in our community. There's so much niggatry. Tell me yes or no if you know what I'm talking about. If the niggatry makes you tired, tell me yes or no. It makes me tired. I don't have enough energy for all the niggatry, because all that's going to happen is we're going to end up arguing ourselves into a early grave. We're going to die of diabetes, high blood pressure and shit, and nothing will get done. Nothing moves forward. What I want to know is how many Black people are able to feed their children because of the work you do. How many Black children are going to get educated because of the work you do? How many Black people are going to have additional wealth because of the work you do? Like that's really what matters at the end of the day. Everything else is just theater. Everything else is theater. And the thing about theater and entertainment is you enjoy it, while it's there, but then when it's over, you're still stuck with nothing. Like the Black Panther, like Black people put more money into seeing the Black Panther movie than we would even put into like building our own school system. We will put more into a moment of entertainment. We gave $700 million approximately to Disney because they gave us a fucking movie. So you went to see the movie, you got a feel-good moment, and then you went back to your miserable lives. But if somebody stepped out, like if I stepped out and said, hey, that movie was so great, why don't we use that momentum and go make, go build a Black school system? All we need is half of that money, $350 million. We raise it in a month. Like Disney raised $700 million from Black people in about 3 or 4 weeks. We'll raise $350 million in a month and start constructing Black schools. We got thousands of Black teachers out here that would love to come and work for these schools. Let's make it happen. If somebody were to run a campaign like that, Black people wouldn't support that. Why? Well, because you have an appetite for drama. You like drama, but you don't like doing the boring ass work. You like the screaming and hooting and hollering, but you don't like sitting down, reading books and doing analysis and figuring out the strategy necessary for you to build. And I would say that given that I'm, 48, I have OG status and I own that. I accept that. And as the OG, I'm just going to sit here and say like that you're killing yourselves, Black people. You got to stop this. You got to quit this stuff, So I'm going to go ahead and take that first step. I'll put myself out there and say, once again, I'll tell you my truths about Mechee or whatever, but you're not going to hear me on here saying, oh, Mechee's a bitch, Mechee's an asshole. Because I'm gonna tell you, if I say Mechee's an asshole, Mechee's a scam artist, or she's a whatever, then I'm actually dissing myself, because I'm the one who promoted her. I'm the one that put her out there. I'm the one that pushed her. I'm the one that gave her money. I'm the one that did a lot of things. So that makes me look stupid. What I will only say is I was, mistaken. I thought we could work out whatever issues we had. Apparently everything didn't work out. Sometimes that's what happens. You're busy, you run around you got so many people asking you for stuff, and sometimes things happen. Sometimes people's feelings get hurt. And for that, I'm really sorry. I hate the fact that it happened that way, because I think that we could have made a great team. And I think that one of the things that we lose is as black people, when we're fighting, we can't be fucking teammates, man. You know, when you got Superman trying to kill the Incredible Hulk, then you just got two dead superheroes at the end of the day. You got one dead superhero and one crippled superhero. Why do we want Superman fighting the Incredible Hulk? You want them on the same goddamn side. So even if they have a difference, you know, the enemy in a war is not the other person. The enemy in a war is the actual war itself, because there are no winners in a war. There's no winners in a war. There's only the biggest loser and the smallest loser. And I don't want to be either one. I don't want to be the biggest loser for sure. I don't want to be the smallest loser. So that's why I say I would be the first one. I'm strong enough, because again, I told you, look, you know, hate is easy, love is hard. You know, but I'm strong enough to step out and say, I'm gonna love you regardless. And my door is open. You know, anybody that I've worked with at any point who has something negative to say about me can call me on the phone, and let's work through the bullshit, through the childish shit. Let's work together. I will support what you're doing, because I want you to win, because it's about the people. It ain't about me. It ain't about our fucking egos. We get these goddamn YouTube channels and think we motherfucking movie stars and shit. That's the funny part. Like ain't nothing like seeing somebody who you know, who hasn't really gotten attention before, to suddenly do a video that gets 100,000 views, and suddenly you feel like you're like Denzel Washington or something. I've seen it. I see it happen all the time, and I'll be like, oh shit, oh my god, I don't know if this person's gonna handle fame very well, because you tend to, it's easy to get caught up, and it's easy to think that you are the center of the world, you know. And I learned over time that that's just not true. I mean, I ain't shit. I'm nothing. I'm no better than anybody who supports me. Without my supporters, I'm nothing. And I'm supposed to be a servant. I'm supposed to be a vessel for the empowerment and the betterment of the community. So if you want to know why I let myself get stepped on sometimes, it's because I'm trying to stay humble. I'm trying not to think I'm better than anybody else. If you want to know, you know, why I will continue to be a dumbass and help people, because there's going to be another dispute. It's going to be some other shit. I'd say about twice a year, somebody's going to come out and attack and say Boyce Watkins ain't shit, I hate him, whatever. It's going to happen. It's going to keep happening, because I'm going to keep helping black people. That's not going to stop. But in terms of my message to those individuals who might have the issue with me, I say pick up the phone, like call me, and just all you got to do, here's what you do. Call me and say, Boyce, I'm really pissed at you because you hurt me, and here's how you hurt me. And I'm going to listen to you. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to say, God, I'm really, really sorry if I hurt you. How can I make that better? You're my sister. You're my brother. How do we repair that? And how do we overcome our differences and find common ground so we can work together for what really matters? Because we don't need our superheroes fighting. So I'm not going to participate in none of that stuff. So this is really more so my official statement on it. It's not me adding to the beef. I'm not out here. I'm not going to go out here and be like, oh, Mechee X ain't shit and blah, 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 because I don't believe that. I'd be lying to y'all if I was like, oh, I think Mechee's a terrible person. I don't think she's a terrible person. I think that her feelings were hurt, you know, and I think sometimes as black people, we have a hard time admitting that. But I know Mechee, I knew Mechee well enough to know that I felt like she had a good heart, and I feel like she's been through a lot. And I'm not trying to re-traumatize black people who've been traumatized already. Mechee has lost a lot. Mechee's gone through some shit. You know, and I think that's what you see. You know, that's where her passion comes from. That's where her greatness comes from. It comes from pain. A lot of times you can't be as great as a Mechee X if you haven't gone through hell. You know, even the things I do well came from pain. They came from, you know, difficult experiences I had that broke me down. You know, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just not going to do that. You know, but I felt the need to address it, just because I don't know. Don't even ask me why. God told me to talk about it, so I did. It may not even been the right move, but it is what it is. So I'm not going to talk about it no more. Let me see here. Mechee says, why don't you stop using black women when you wouldn't have this problem all the time? I'm hurt that the very motherfucker I help and love used me like you did. Well, thank you for sharing the comment. I appreciate you coming in, Mechee. You got my number, girl. You know you can call me, and you know I will pick up the phone. So give me a call, and I'll help you with your tour as much as I can. I still, the offer still stands. I still support it. I want to see it succeed. All right, so I'm gonna go. You guys have a great day, and this was fun, wasn't it? Sometimes it's fun to let it all out a little bit, But after that, I'm gonna go back to the regularly scheduled program. You know, for those of you who aren't interested in any of this, which you probably shouldn't be really, but drama sells, right? But those who aren't interested in any of this, I will get back to who I am. And we're gonna go back to the regular stuff. So I'm not gonna say nothing negative about nobody. And I see Mechee says we talk plenty on the phone. No thanks. Well, Mechee, you got to communicate. You know, the key to successful relationships is communication. And I know that the temptation a lot of times is we get in the mode where we don't want to talk, we don't want to talk, we don't want to talk because we pissed off at somebody. But the thing is, if you get pissed at somebody, it should be from something that you confirm. Like if I think somebody says something bad about me, or I see them say something on Facebook, or they tweet something like Vicky. There's no reason you should hate Vicky Dillard because Vicky is a sweet person. Vicky, I've never seen Vicky straight up say anything direct about me. I just haven't. I mean, again, I tried to moderate that, and I think that's one of the things that probably hurt you is that you feel that I've chose Vicky's side because I support Vicky. Well, Vicky has never done anything to attack me anyway. I've never seen her, say anything toward me that made me feel like, oh no, she's a terrible person. None of that, right? Vicky's always been honorable, and a lot of y'all see Vicky, every single day. So, I wanted y'all to work it out, but I know that when I mediated the meeting with you and Vicky didn't get to say anything, because you had so much to say, and I just really feel like y'all would be better working together, like I just really think that, so I think you're better working with Vicky than you are with working with somebody like Tommy Sotomayor or Paris Milan. I honestly, I'm gonna just be real. I don't think Paris and based on what I saw from them personally, what I saw from Paris personally, I didn't feel like her energy was always that good. Tommy, he's been public a long time. Y'all know where he comes from. I don't see him coming from a pro-black perspective, but I think Vicky Dillard and Mechee X make a great team. And fuck Boyce Watkins. Who cares what I think? It's really about y'all finding a way to work together, because you can't build stuff if you're fighting all the time. It just doesn't work that way. So that's it. So let me see. Why don't you go onto her platform and resolve the issues? Yeah, I would. Just so you know, if you want me to come to your platform, Mechee, I will do that for you. I will not come to Tommy's platform. He can come to mine, but I don't want to come to his because I feel like those people. I feel like their energy is very anti-black, and I'm not a fan of that. Paris Milan, I don't really see a reason to come to Paris's platform. I think talking to Paris directly would be more interesting, because I'd like to know, what she like. There's one way people talk about things in public, and there's a way they talk in private. And I'd like to be like, okay, let's get rid of the bullshit. You and I know, what really happened. So what's really going on here? Like, that's what I'd like to do. So really, if you want to know why I talk about this, why I've even talked about this at all, it's because I really just kind of think, like, we got to find a way to work together, black people. Like, we can't be having World War III every week. But I guess it helps with YouTube views. I mean, it's going to get you views on your channel, but at what cost? At what cost? That's it. That's all I'm saying. At what cost? Because think about it. What projects do you see anywhere in the black community where you've got more than, say, 70, 80, 100 black people all working together to achieve the same goal? You almost never see it. You never see it. White people go make a movie. They got 3,000 people on the same damn page, all on code, all getting it done, working out disputes, figuring out, solving things behind closed doors, working in unison. Black people, we just tend to have these things where we just out there like, oh, fuck him, that motherfucker, he ain't shit. I'd rather have us spend that energy attacking white supremacy. Why not attack racism? For every the reason that you don't hear me talk about bad things black people do to me is because for every one black person who did something bad to me, there's 100 white people ahead of them in line. There's 100 white people who've done far worse to me. For every black business that took my money or did something or did something unethical to me, there's 100 white businesses that I got to get to first. There's 100 white businesses that done fuck me over like tenfold. So you mad because this black man with a business, overcharge you for a fucking cheeseburger, but the white university that you attended college at is telling you that you owe them $100,000 for an inferior education. Like, maybe that's where your anger should be. Maybe that's where your anger should be. Like, seriously, I just think that black people, Dr. Claude Anderson talks about that a lot. When I talk to him about it, I'll say, gosh, sometimes people just seem to want to fight. And he's like, yeah, that's crabs in a barrel. He said, you were trained to do that. You were trained to think that way back during slavery. And that's why he doesn't participate in any of it. He doesn't respond. I've seen people, when he attacked Claude Anderson, he didn't even care about it. He heard about it. He said, "Oh yeah, well that's what they do." Like that was it. So I kind of think that as Black people, we got to find a better way to resolve disputes. That's it. You're going to keep disagreeing. You're going to keep having issues with each other. Things are going to keep on happening. But you got to find dispute resolution skill if you want your relationships to work. Your businesses don't stay together for the same reasons that your marriages don't stay together. Because Black people, when we get mad, we end up creating World War III. That's what we do. We're like, oh, fuck him. He ain't shit. He's an abuser. She's a gold digger. She a bed wench. She's a blah, blah, blah. And you ain't never really heard me use no language like bed wench and all that. I don't do that. I respect the Black women who have my back, and so let me see here. Not for the BS. Says, damn, these women got my man Boyce looking like the Rob Kardashian of YouTube. I ain't no Rob Kardashian. I'm just a Black man who always loved Black women, and I do not apologize for that. So step away, homeboy. Let's see here. Michael Emotep says, hurt people, hurt people. Yeah. Now, Michael's a guy that I've done business with. Michael runs the African History Network, which has over 1 million subscribers. Michael and I have been in business together for probably how many years, Michael? What, about 7 to 8 years we've been working together. And me and Michael we've had our issues. Like, Michael, tell him. Me and Michael have had some times where we sat down and I was like, all right, man, we got to work this shit out. Right. And I'm going to tell you how we handled that. We talked to each other. That's what we did. We sat down and we worked it out because Michael knows that I need him and he needs me and we need each other and we're stronger together. That's a good example. I'm glad Michael's in here because me and Michael, he said, we worked it out behind closed doors. Exactly. And that's what you do. You got to learn how to work some stuff behind closed doors. And so, for example, somebody's asking Dr. Boyce, are you cool with Cynthia G? It's none of your goddamn business. Like I'm not going to go and blast Cynthia G. Now, whatever Cynthia does, that would be on her. Maybe she sees the world differently, but I'm not going to do that because the world is not better if I blast Cynthia G, right? I can disagree. I can say, Cynthia, I don't know if I see it the way you do see it. But me, what the hell? How am I improving life for Black people by attacking and destroying a Black woman like Cynthia G? Even Tommy Sotomayor, I don't really try to destroy Tommy Sotomayor. I just say I can't co-sign on what I see on Tommy's channel. I think Tommy's energy is not good for the community, but I don't really care. I mean, I want to see Tommy do fine. Whatever he does, you do your thing. I just don't want to be a part of that. Right. So at the end of the day, I think that there are constructive ways to handle things. And so that's it. There's nothing else really to say. Let me see. I see Vicky's in here. How you doing, Vicky? Good to see you. It looks like Mechee might have stepped out. It's OK. But Mechee knows she can call me. And let me see here. I'm gonna see if there's anybody got if you have seen this over and over, maybe it's you. Maybe there's something that you are doing that you can change. I agree with you 100%. Maybe there's something, I thought about that. I've said, God, maybe there's something I need to change. Like maybe the things that go through my mind are one, you could be right. Nobody's perfect, right? So I know that there's probably something I did. Usually when people act out, it's because they're hurt. You hurt their feelings or they were close to you and they feel like you betrayed them somehow. And I'd like to understand that a little bit better. Maybe I do that and don't realize it because sometimes you're just ripping and running. And I'll tell you, I have a lot of people that ask me for a lot of stuff every day. I don't even answer one of my phones because I have a business phone just for people I work with. And then I have another phone that I don't answer because there's no incentive. Every time I pick up the phone, it's somebody asking for a favor, trying to borrow money, want me to hook them up with something. It becomes emotionally draining, to be honest with you. The other part that I think about, though, is that maybe that's just the way it is. Like I've talked to other people who have bigger platforms, like even when David Banner and I were talking, because David's been a rap star for a long time. And one of the things that he did say that was interesting was he talked about lawsuits and stuff like that. And he said it's just part of doing business. Things happen. People get mad and stuff like that. I learned a lot from just kind of thinking about, the fact that I said, well, for every one time something goes wrong, like or if it goes public or whatever, there's 10 or 15 times where it went fine. right? So, you know, a lot of times it's like love, it's like dating. You know, you have one person that does something terrible to you, but maybe you meet 4 or 5 other people who treat you very well, and so that's what it is. Sometimes that's why love is risky. You know, black love is very risky, whether you're talking about relationship love or economic love or just doing, you know, just loving another black person in a not in a platonic way. It's risky because you're dealing with a community of traumatized people. So with trauma comes distrust. And when I don't trust you, and the minute I see you do something where I'm not really sure what your motives are, then my fear kicks in. And I'm starting to think, oh, you that motherfucker who, you're like that motherfucker who robbed me last week. Or you're the guy who, you know, who did this to me, did that to me, right? And so a lot of times the lack of trust is not just why black marriages don't work out. It's why black businesses can't get built and why black consumers don't trust black businesses, because we ultimately inherently believe black people are inferior. There are black women who can't get along with black men because they believe that black men are inferior. There are black men who only date white women because they believe that black women are inferior, that they're loud and crazy and stupid and ignorant. And the problem is that there are some women that fit the description. There are some women out there that fit the description. So you have to be able to see the bigger picture to work through that. You have to be able to see situations where the good outweighs the bad. So usually the people who stick with the black community tend to be the strongest black people. The people like a Vicky Dillon, like Vicky's in here, right? So Vicky, answer me this question. Have you ever been hurt by a black man? Have you ever been mistreated by a black man? Have you ever been abused by a black man? Have you ever had a black man act out of code and just be disrespectful to you? I'm sure that Vicky's going to answer yes. But Vicky still loves black men. Vicky still rides for black men till I believe till the death. Why? Well, because she's one of the strongest out here, because she believes in the good in black men. She believes the good outweighs the bad, and that's what people, you know, that those are the people that I tend to relate to the most. Like, can you be abused by black people, robbed by black people, mistreated by black people, blasted by black people, attacked by black people, and have black people try to destroy you and still love black people? If you can do that, then this fight is for you. And Louis Farrakhan actually hit the nail on the head when he said y'all are hard people to love. He said y'all are hard people to love. You know, and I agree. It is hard, but I'm not gonna stop. You know, because I'm built like a soldier. My daddy made me strong. My mother made me passionate, and I'm gonna keep on moving forward. So that's what it is. Back to your regularly scheduled program. So there you go. That's for those who want to know what I think about anything that might be discussed or whatever. That's my official statement. Anybody else who has an issue, I encourage you, you know, call me. Like, you can call me. I'm still be friendly to you. I'd love to talk to you about it. You know, whatever. But you know, but if you do a video or something like that, I'm not really going to get into that, because that's not gonna help black people. You know, drama is entertainment. It's not building. So we must build as black people. So I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day, and hit the thumbs up button before you go. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Peace.